good afternoon, or good evening. It is Sunday, November the 12th, just coming on 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, and I am going to be as quick as I can because I have a severe headache. I completely forgot that it is my wife's father's birthday today, and there are a group of 50 people about 50 yards away from where I am doing videoke, and not one of them can sing, so you can probably hear it in the background, but yes. Has nothing to do with that, but we really don't have too much to discuss. The month of November is now 220 points on the SPX. We now have a 314 point bounce, 7.66% from the lows just 2 weeks ago, Friday. 2 weeks, 7.66%, 314 point bounce. I still remain on my preferred view, which is this is a bear market bounce. However, it doesn't make a difference because, as I had said prior to 2 weeks ago, we are going to get a bounce, and it's going to be violent. Whether it's bullish or it's bearish, we are going to get a bounce. And I'm going to go over that in a minute. But I first want to touch on my horrible English, because my English is terrible. I admit it. I admit my faults. I'm not able to really type or speak in English because I type and speak in American. And the email on Friday, November 10th, S&P futures are flat. I covered in the video that everybody saw. The entire planet, every market on the planet was red as this email was going out. First thing written, every 1 hour chart is now warning oversold. Highlighted, VIX crush Friday warning. How we crushed the VIX on Fridays. You can scroll through and reread the horrible English because it is written in American. Details of the email, go back and rewatch the video and go through everything where it is and scroll down to your here. 0 DTE credit spreads is how I began the summary. It's Friday. We close green every Monday. SPX had one down Monday. QQQ had one down Monday. So your risk, if you want, it is playing the bullish put spread at the close for Monday the 13th using the close. Streaks are made to be broken, as we saw the day prior, having had a plethora of 8 green days in a row matching the November 2021 streak. And it begins with it's Friday. Don't go messing up the week with a dumb trade. Had a good week recovering from trying to jump in front of the green chain with some weekly put plays. I know no one held on to the morning alert put from the other day. The 0 DTE risk puts right at the opening bell, 560, 53 cents on Thursday. You see your results, you have the email, you've had it for 3 days. But once again, shows that you do not need to risk on them and bank bigger than you expect. The less risk on them lets you ride them as long as you want. There are also some pretty good band-aids on prior fuck-ups. So again, Friday oversold 1 hour warning levels, and we are on the verge of a red week. Would not be bad. But most importantly, don't end the week with a bad trade. Having seen, and you know what, I never mentioned the fake print on Friday, having talked about it 2 days in a row. I didn't even mention it Friday because it was never gonna happen. The whole world was fucking red. It was never gonna happen. Never. Oh, it happened. But again, as you scroll down, and yeah, I highlight where your gaps are below. And this has been in the email now for, I don't know, a month and a half. 43.94, 42, big gap above. And then here, your 0 DTE safe trade. Buy, sell, nothing. And then I covered, what was all there from the weekly trades. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 gap ups in a row on the SPX. You can go back and talk about how this market and what's happened because of this 2-week bounce, which was going to happen no matter what, is very similar to 1991 and very similar to 1964. I find that a complete bag of shit. You have 2 green weeks in a row. You don't get 3 free green weeks in a row. You don't get it. So get ready, because there's a trade coming out to you tomorrow morning after we get open. There is a trade coming out to you. None of you are going to like it. A couple of you. Now, I'm not going to focus on that anymore. You guys that have been with me for years, you're absolutely right. Because I put more attention on the people that are making humongous mistakes, I'm wasting a lot of time because it's written there in plain American. Don't fuck yourself in the ass. And then they go and do fuck themselves in the ass. What can I do? But there again, started the week. Started the day 7:21 in the morning, 2 hours before the opening bell. 43.83, 43.72, 437.18. Crush the VIX Friday. QQQ 373. If you're choosing to play today, watch those spots for tops. So, meaning, you can. I'm not even going to go into the meaning part because it's going to get fucking thrown back in my face for people that didn't make money and made bad decisions on a Friday. Having said already, don't make a mistake on a Friday. And everyone should remember, don't make a mistake on a Friday. 9:39 in the morning. Watch that 43.83.72. Watch that QQQ 373. Watch 437. Wait, names are running. And then all of a sudden, right here around 11 o'clock in front of my face, because I'm watching the 43.85 calls and I'm watching the 437 calls, and bam, I see a guy come out here, 13,900 is what the trade showed up. Now, 13,900 times 18. It's a $250,000 trade. But I couldn't see the trade. I couldn't see it in the tape if it was a buy or it was a sell. I looked over on the chain to see all of the trades on that particular strike. Did not show up. It wasn't there. But it was there in front of us. And immediately those SPY 437 calls not only started running, but your $18 times whatever it is to you, specifically you, is a risk manageable amount of money. Went to 387, closed at 355. Do the math real quick. 3.55 divided by 0.18 minus 1, 1,872% from that to the close. So while we're on that, I'm going to go over here quickly because it's a really quick update. And you could probably just fast forward if you don't want to listen to details of stuff as to why we are where we are. And just, I would say, go forward 5 minutes. But here again, QQQ, the move on QQQ since that 342.35 back on October the 26th. All right. All gap ups. All gap ups, same thing. Had a couple of red closes in between there, but all gap ups. Everything is inside the QQQ. We can't stop saying it. November bounce, 36.19, 10.57%. So I want to touch on that, right? Because again, back in October, I will try and find the exact date. even though, oh yeah, it will show up here. Where are we? October 26, October 25. October 25 and October 26 are when these emails went out. Those emails came on October 25. Oh, this is the SPX. Excuse me. October 25, we were at 349.75, and October 26th was the actual bottom on the QQQ. Go back again, and the emails were November 24, December 1 QQQ calls. Slowly, one could begin starting the position. First upside gap, 359, 377, 381, and 385 above that. Went on to display the same. And again, added into the November 17th that I alerted in the room, 353 calls at 528, as I had sent out the email already the day before. Now, we had that Israel going into Gaza freak out right when the SPX bottomed on 2 weeks ago. Right when we bottomed 2 weeks ago, right when the full moon was, that Friday, October 27th, was when Israel went into Gaza. And I took the liberty of warning everybody, you know what? We've broken below levels that we are not allowed to break down on the SPX. We have broken below them. Let's not take the chance. Go ahead, close your calls. If everything looks prudent, you can go back, you can read it. We can get back into them on Monday. And that's exactly what we did. We got back into them on Monday, on October the 30th. And then I sent out the email right there 3 days later. November 17th, QQQ 353 calls are 50%. Now, I want you to get this, with it being $4.80 here. They were trading at $5 on the Monday prior. This is 2.5 days, and it was prior to Jerome Powell and the FOMC. This is what you get when you buy time. And I'm going to go on a 15-day, 30-minute chart and allow this to load up however it wants to load up, which I have no idea how long it takes, but they closed at $24. Now, again, that was a $5 re-entry, having them drop down to $3.72 on the day of Israel going into Gaza. $5, they are at $24. There is a week left on these, and because QQQ is at 378, they are, do the math, $23, $22 in the money. That's where you put money. When you are putting money that matters to you, you don't put it in a 0 DTE. That's being a fucking moron. When you put money, you go out, you buy time. You guys have the alert that I sent out for March. I had somebody tell me I'm crazy to think that. This is a guy that lost $60,000 on Friday doing 0 DTE. So protect yourself. Protect your money. And if you think you're smarter than me, you don't need to be here, because I don't need you. You're the one who needs me. I'm willing to help. You see it. I did 7 fucking hours until 4:30 in the morning on Saturday doing phone calls. I'd be doing them right now if there wasn't somebody fucking videoing outside. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Let's get to the SPX. SPX, 10 gap ups in a row, 7.5%, 7.6% run, 314-point bounce, 2 green weeks in a row, 220 points for the month. Very important. 43, 43, 87 is now currently the 23.6 retracement. The 38.2 would be 4,300, just below it at 42.98. A 50 retracement of this bounce would be around 42.60. Now, let me bring you over to the QQQ so we can navigate around. Again, 2 green weeks in a row. It is up 36 points in just over 2 weeks. Count your gaps. It's like high school cheerleaders. That's how many gaps you got there. 2.29% on Friday, with the rest of the world black red. And now up 40% year to date, while, as we kept showing, the Russell 2000 continued to go red every day of the week. A lower low there on Friday before that algorithm kicked in right around 11 o'clock in the morning, which had no headlines at all. So I bring you here to the moon calendar, and you guys have seen us go over the full moon. But nobody has seen us go over the new moon. Only a couple of us track the new moon. A couple of us talk about the new moon. And, here he goes, what's the fuck is this guy talking about? Well, let's get to our charts. SPX. Here is Friday. What happened? Right down to that 43.55 number. You go with your memory as to what you think and was said and what you heard on Friday. Right up to that 43.83.72, right to it, and respected it like a champ. And then right there at 12:30, just said, everybody thinks we're going to close green on Monday. How about if we do it on Friday and we fuck everybody on Monday? Why? Why would we do that? Because it's the new moon. Here's your week. You went nowhere, literally nowhere during the course of the week. It was absolutely nothing. Thinkorswim loves Sundays, and I love Sundays with Thinkorswim. I appreciate you scrolling here and wasting my time. So let me cut this out of the video until it loads. All right, so we're back. So it has loaded up, and again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, perfect, 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 perfect. Everything just worked out fantastically. Your spreads were killing it, crushing it all week long. Zoom in, during the course of the week. Okay, Monday, only 43%. Only 100%, but you had to close it on Tuesday. Only 100%, but you had to close it on Thursday or Wednesday. On Friday, on Thursday, 150%. And granted, I have gone over here and thrown over this roll because the safe spread, having had the safe edge get hit, a lot of people decided, hey man, it's Friday. It's Friday. There's like an hour and a half left in the day. Man, I'm going at this. I'm putting it all in. And, the safe edge got busted. Earlier in the morning, when we hit down that 43.55, you guys saw it. You had $1 credit on that trade, 43.90, 43.85, and then it dropped down to 20 cents. You can go in the spread room, or I could go in the spread room, but you've got access to it, so you go ahead and do it. Then the safe edge got fucking absolutely ramped. And when did the safe edge get ramped before? Your safe edges are supposed to be perfect. You're absolutely right. They are. And the last time it got ramped was on August 29th, the day before the full moon, when QQQ had a 2% day out of absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. Nothing. Zero. There was zero reason for it to take place. Zero. And on August 29th, as we were going up there to go ramp up to the very next day, day and a half, up to that September 45.41, QQQ threw in a plus 2% on that day for no reason whatsoever. So come on back into our charts, and here is your SPX for the week, and here is your SPX for the move. Load up for me, baby, and there you go. Here is our low Friday 2 weeks ago, yesterday, and here we are, plus 314 points, plus 766%. Gap, 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 gap. Gap unfilled from long, long time ago. Gap, 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 gap. 44.34. This is your 161.8 retracement of the February drop. Very significant, not as significant as you were down here at 43.37, 43.55, but now you understand why it worked. Here's your 41.36. What is it? Same thing. Talking about that going into the COVID drop, 41.36. So I want to bring you into what you already know, and that is your full moons. And let's zoom you out. Would you like to do a 12-day or 2-year? You know what? Let's do 2-year. And here, as you load up, take your time, Thinkorswim. It's not like there's fucking people trading. It's Sunday night. eh, we'll go over it. There we go. There you go, buddy. So I had these trend lines, which I'll remove because we were using these quite often on the drop that we completely crushed over in 2022. So while I remove these, you're looking around and you're seeing these white dots. And these white dots just so happen to be where your full moons are. And you know what? We'll zoom it in so that you can see it, because you may not have taken the 7 minutes that it would take to go and draw them on your chart yourself. Full moon, full moon, full moon, full moon, full moon, full moon, full moon. You kind of start getting the gist of this about why we have always actively traded the full moon. You start to really see it come into place when you start drawing these onto your chart. Full moon, full moon, full moon, full moon. Well, let me zoom out. Okay. You're looking at your full moons. And we are loaded. So here in red are your new moons. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you missed it by a day, you sneaky bastard. Here as well. You missed it by a day. These are your new moons. You know what? I'll stay right here just so you can see it. Full moon. Jesus, man, why is this shit so slow? Full moon. New moon. Not going to keep doing that because this is lagging too much for me. But again, you go back and track where your new moons are, where your full moons are. And again, you will see this is where you will get 29 out of 30 times your reversal, just like with your full moons. And why would we be getting a reversal now, having made a 7.5% run over there on the QQQ or on the SPX, up 300 plus points, which is a monthly good range? And we've done it in 2 weeks. And that would bring you over to your QQQ. With your QQQ having run 36 points, 10.5% off of that bottom over there, a week prior to the end of October. Gap, 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 3, little one here, 4, and another one there, 5, and you still have 2 unfilled gaps from back here in early July, when this all started to fall apart, and in August. Yes, there is a fake print up there, right up there at 383. One of the reasons why I got into those calls. Where did we come to on Friday? Right to the fake breakout back in September at 378.51. Came to it almost to the penny. Right up there into the close, right there, touching it at 4 o'clock on the highs, and then just a little higher into the end of the day, and then breaking right down. What else happened? Well, crude we'll go over in a minute. Your VIX crush Friday. What'd they do? They crushed the VIX. Actually, this needs to go higher, and that needs to go to there, so that resembles the entire Friday. 1542, significant, failed. What did you get? You drop down right down there to 1410. Wider view, much wider view. Now you're getting into the part of saying where, well, this is all starting to make sense to me now. Well, it should have made sense, 3 weeks ago when we were calling for the bounce. And what you have here when the VIX is loaded, with the VIX loaded, looking at a 180-day, 6-hour chart just to be able to show this bottom. breaking down below 1410. And okay, if you want to make the perfect of most perfect entries, and you're going to be buying 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 1 month out, what in the hell does a perfect entry mean? Math is math. So you're at 1410, like I've been saying for over a week. If you see 1339, go buy 1 month, 2 month outputs. Well, you're getting the alarm right now to go out and buy 1 month, 2 month outputs. In fact, that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, as I mentioned over there during the week, is looking here at the December 15th QQQ 360 puts, and need to move this to 50. December 15th, QQQ 360 puts, 15,000 volume, almost 15, excuse me, 15,600 volume, 67,000 open interest on Friday, and it is $2.26. Now, let's look at January 19th, and the January 19th 360s are trading at $4.81. Now let's go out and look at the March 15th. And the March 15th are trading at $8.39. These are the 360s. This is your QQQ. So this week is the last week. This is it. It's over. It's finished. You have your new moon on Friday. You have CPI on Tuesday, whatever, retail sales, blah, 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 this and that. But the reason I'm saying it's your last week is next week is Thanksgiving week. Next week is Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, lo and behold, Thanksgiving falls on the Thursday, according to my calendar. I mean, and again, it might be wrong. I'm using an American calendar, not an English one. So if it's wrong, correct me. But here is your NVIDIA Ponzi scheme of Ponzi schemes. 392 to 482. A 100-point move, call it 100 points. 20+% on a $1 trillion company. They're going to be reporting earnings after the close on Tuesday, the day before the heaviest travel day of the year in the United States, which is Wednesday, because everybody's flying for Thanksgiving. And then the following Friday is a half session, the slowest trading session of the year. And NVIDIA is going to be reporting earnings on Tuesday. This is set up. Let me, earnings. Let's see because I got to go by, let's see, take that off. Earnings. Take off the after hours trading, extended hours trading. Earnings were here, and the next day popped to 502, dip, back down below where it opened up, pop, and your sell-off. Not going to say anything else about NVIDIA other than the fact that it is a Ponzi scheme. You will find out in due course. You don't need to be finding out in a week. And up here from 108 to 500, you are an absolute moron to be buying the stock up here, regardless of, oh, look at that. It's an inverse head and shoulders, and it's going to go up to 520. Who fucking cares? Spend your time and your focus on something that is a lot simpler rather than gambling your money on shit that you don't need to be gambling your money on. I don't know whether or not this weekend's video made too much sense to anybody, but the point being is very simple. We are up, gapping up 10 days in a row. We have closed green, 9 out of those 10 days, with the only dip when the biggest bank on the planet that handles U.S. Treasury transactions was hacked. After last weekend, when Bank of America had a sudden delay in direct deposits, middle of the week when Mortgage payments were not going to be accepted by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac because they had a system glitch. And SoftBank drops 8.5% on Friday from a ransomware attack. But let's just go buy tech stocks because no, we're in a new bull market. We're going to new all-time highs. No matter what, we're getting a dip. We are getting a dip. How low that dip breaks now is very simple. 43.55, 43.44, 43.55, 43.44. We break down below there, we got something bigger. QQQ. What a fucking joke this is. But QQQ, very simple. We're at 378. We break below 370, we're looking at 365. Should 365 break prior to NVIDIA reporting their earnings, get out of the way and go get ready for that 350, 340. And like I shared with a couple of you, 330, 331. Have a good day. Have a great weekend. I will actually get an email out tomorrow morning and have a very detailed video for you, which is very concise, very small, very clear. And, I'm watching somebody asked to, anyway, I've watched a couple of things that were out there that were shared with me, and I look at them and I think, well, then why can't I compare my one pack ab that I have now in November as to the 8-pack abs that I had in November 37 years ago? It's because everything's changed. What happened before is not going to tell you what's happening again when it comes to going back 20, 30, 40 years. This is a new algorithm. Algorithms change constantly when you have big tops, big bottoms. And I continue to see this as being a big bear bounce, and we'll find out in the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. Happy new moon.